Sunshine Sound podcast with your host, Christine Matthias.
Basically, I'm tired of writing riffs. I want to just play music, and I don't want to care if you have to listen to it. I don't want to care that it needs to be repetitive, or that you need to do things in fours, or that the hook needs to be here, or that you need to, not 30 seconds of no singing. Like, I don't care about like this marketable format kind of thing. I'm just here because I bought a fucking piece of wood and metal a long time ago, and it changed my life, and I want to make noise forever.
Hello and welcome to episode number 22 of the Sunshine Sound podcast. Thank you for tuning in. In this one, I had the chance to talk to Jason and Chris of Parade of Horribles, and they also organized the punk rock food drive. Such a cool thing. So it's this event that's been going on for a while. As the name implies, they get musicians together to raise money and collect donations for the local food drive. Super cool thing. These guys have a ton of energy and are super positive, and really, they're just doing this event because they want to. They want to help out. They want to bring people together to perform, but also to, give something back to the community. And this is something that I see a lot with musicians. We're very involved in the community and we want to give back. So it's awesome to hear about the different kinds of projects and things that musicians are taking on to do that. And, it's not always easy. It's often stressful to put together events like this, but, it's worth it for them. It's worth it for us to give something back. And we also had a chance to talk a lot about their band and the recording process. So they have a pretty honest opinion of what the recording process is like, especially when you're doing it yourself. At least it reflects what my own experience has been, which is that it often is a bit frustrating, especially if you're not an audio engineer. I haven't been doing it for a long time. I definitely find it pretty frustrating at times. So it's good to hear that I'm not the only one. These guys have an awesome band. We got to listen to some of their tracks, and even though it's called the Punk Rock Food Drive, and I kind of figured they'd be more kind of straightforward punk rock, they definitely have their own sound and do a little bit more experimenting within their music, which is always cool to hear how you don't really need to be tied down to any particular genre, and music is a place for exploration, and you can hear that in their music. So super cool stuff, super fun guys. I really liked this interview, and I hope you do too. Today in the studio, I have Jason and Chris from the Punk Rock Food Drive and also from Parade of Horribles. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Christine.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate it. We just kind of barged in and said, hey, you're doing this thing. We want to come over and talk. So thanks for letting us come over.
Sure. I'm glad you guys are here. So I think it seems like your big focus now is really the punk rock food drive. So tell me about that.
It is kind of our big focus right now. It has been for 9.5 years or something.
Wow, you've been doing it for that long.
Yeah. So we're coming up on 10 years. So that's makes it seem super important to us right now.
So is that also as long as you've been a band?
No, we actually started it with a different band. The other band that Jason and I were both in, Black 7. I'm trying to think of what year. I don't know.
What 2009 or something.
Okay.
It's 2009, yeah. So
we've
been doing this for a really long time.
Yeah.
Our kids were like, we used to be able to throw our kids like a really long distance when we started this, but now they're too big to throw far.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's how you know you've been doing something a while.
And then so what made you start this? Like, where did this idea come from?
It's just something that came up when we were in that old band. It's like, hey, there's a show we're already playing. Let's make it a food drive. And then
it was our former singer in the other band, Dan Hernandez, was like, hey, what do you guys think about doing a food drive? And we were like, all right, that could be cool. And so we kind of stumbled our way through that first one and was like, okay, this is neat. And then afterwards, after a couple of weeks went by, we were like, hey, what if we just did that again next year? And then from there, it just grew.
So is it an annual thing then?
It's absolutely annual. And then the first one was in like spring or something. It was a May show. So then when Thanksgiving came around, we said, we'll do it during the holidays because people will understand it more. It'll gain some traction. Everybody's given in November and December.
Oh yeah.
So we started that November. We did the first annual, and I swear we must have called it the first annual, and that was like if you just kind of already number it, then
you're kind of doomed to at least get to
we
number
gotta chase
10.
this dragon. So then we just kept going with it and just learn little stuff. Like the first show, it was like one trash can full of food or something, barely. It was like 100 pounds of food. And then we just found little ways. We kind of started getting donations so that we could do raffles, and that's become like a bigger part of how we actually raise money, is just by working with a ton of local businesses, and they help us out and give us clothes and skateboards and gift cards for restaurants and breweries and stuff. And then we're giving those away.
All kinds
we got
all
people,
kinds of cool stuff.
We started doing like silent auctions now. So like we've got people designing custom surfboards for the event. And they're just kind of donating their time and efforts to what we're donating our time and efforts to. So it's pretty cool. Just like it's kind of one of those things like where you just get to years into it, and then you look back down this long ass road and you go, wow, it's like looking at your odometer kind of thing, and you just cover so many miles.
I did all those miles. That's
crazy.
You're
like, and it's not like we kind of like you didn't try to do that right from the get-go. It probably would have seemed like astronomical at our first show to think. So now we're at a place where we usually make we do a food drive and we'll get like 8 barrels of food, which is probably like 1,000 pounds. I mean, it depends what you put in it. Rice versus...
There's a lot of ramen in there. It tends to be a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Peanut butter's pretty heavy if it hits you in the head. But so, I mean, we're doing like almost 1,000 pounds of food at a food drive, and then we have all these other things going on. Like, it used to be just a show, and now it's like a campaign. So it's every year we do a food drive or summer or whatever it is, every 6 months. We've got like Senior Grubby's in Carlsbad. There's a taco shop down there where they'll do a food fundraiser night. So we're going to go there the week before the show, and we'll get $300 there. And then we've got people setting up food drives at their work. So they're working with their employer to say, hey, I want to do this challenge for the whole staff to see which department can raise more food or whatever. And like, there's people cool in Del Mar, like I think it's Realty Incorporated or Realty Income, it's called, where just this last one, they have like they have this thing called a charity challenge anyway, where like all their employees have these incentives to raise money for the community, and they work it into like a sales incentive kind of thing. So at the end of the year, if your department raises the most money for people, you get like a little kickback for helping people. So they worked us into their event so that they ended up raising like 500 pounds of food, and then they wrote $100 check on top of that, which like it's all like
it all adds up.
It's funny because we're working on like this punk show level where it's like we're trying to do free shows that are all ages where you raise food, but it's like in our world it's like $5. If you went to a show, it costs $5. You're like, that's pretty good. That's right along my budget. But totally. Whereas like a lot of these other organizations, you go to 1,000 plate dinner or something, like they're raising big numbers. So we're doing, like I said, like 1,000 pounds of food, and then we're doing like $3 to $4 grand is what we raise in a campaign or something. So, but
meal wise,
that's where the magic is. So like, every dollar you raise is worth 5 meals. So we just donated $4,000 to the food bank. So that's 20,000 meals. And then you start doing this math where you divide that by 3 meals a day, 365 a year. And it's like all these thousands of meals, they could literally feed you for like a single person for like 5 years or something. So I always like to play with the meal numbers because like the perspective just like, because then you don't have to hold your mind in when it's all blown around you like this. Right. You're walking around like, oh my gosh, look at these numbers, Chris.
It's funny when you go to the food bank too. We go to the food bank and you'll see, you'll go there on one day and the shelves are completely packed. You're like, wow, look at all this food in here. And then you go back the next week and it's completely gutted. You're like, damn.
Oh, wow. They go through it.
Oh, they go through it like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. And so have you always worked with the San Diego Food Bank throughout
so
this?
There's right now the San Diego Food Bank purchased, they bought the North County Food Bank, which used to be owned by North County Community Services. But it's basically the same warehouse we've been working with out of San Marcos for a really long time, where the warehouse functions kind of like a storefront for a bunch of other nonprofits. So if you have a nonprofit that's like maybe like it could be
a church group,
like a treatment center, like a facility for like rehabilitation or addiction or something. All like over 100 nonprofits all throughout North County. They pretty much go to the warehouse and they shop there for what they need at their organization.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
And then they do like some stuff like if you
They hand out boxes and stuff.
Yeah,
like if you just walked in and say, hey, and basically, when they're open, I need food. Basically, you're allowed to pick up a box. It's like they have these preset boxes, like 30 pounds of food and stuff like that.
Yeah, they
so
don't
hand
do
out that
like
kind of stuff.
like the soup kitchen food line kind of thing as much. But if you need it, they'll help you figure out how to get it.
Gotcha. And so can just anyone walk in there, or do they have like what do you know what that process
There's a
is
phone
like?
number. I don't even know what the phone number is. It's like a 411 number. You could actually call for food services. I want to say 511. I think that's traffic.
I think that's
Yeah.
traffic too.
Like
211 maybe?
mobility.
211. I think it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
211 I think is the
Something 11.
like mental health, food service, that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's great. And then, so were you working with the San Diego Food Bank from the beginning? Has that always been, or were you?
Well, it's been once they purchased the North County Food Bank, we started working with them. I mean, for us, it's not. For us, the benefit and the wonder of it all is that if we get all this food to this warehouse, it could get to the people who need it, because we're doing 50 hours a week, full-time work, full-time dads, full-time band, full-time whatever. We're trying to squeeze into all these hours we have in a day. And so we work with San Diego Food Bank and just the North County Food Bank in general, because they have the resources they've got trucks, they've got distribution centers, they've got years of statistics on who needs what where and all that stuff. So like we're invested. It's funny, like we're invested wholeheartedly to these events that we're putting on. And then at a certain point you kind of have to trust the process and say, here's this food for you. Please get it to all the people who need it,
Right. Are you turning over all the money to them as well?
Yeah. So it's it's like the day after, like the Monday after a food drive, the trucks come and they'll pick up the food we raised at a show, and then next week, Wednesday, Thursday, we roll in with a big wad of cash and a bunch of checks and stuff.
Say, here you go. Yeah.
That's gotta feel good.
Yeah, it's cool. That's the fun part. And then, I mean, it's funny because like there's no confetti or streamers. It's just people working in a warehouse doing their thing, and you're just like, I'm here to hand you $4,000. I spent 4 months thinking about how I could get you all this money.
And they say, thanks. We'll see you next time.
So here you go. You're like, I'll just pat myself on the back on this one. See you later. But yeah, so it's a lot of work and heartache and fun,
Yeah.
It's,
so what do you feel like the connection is between like music and of doing a food drive? Like how do they work together?
Yeah. How do they work together, Chris?
I mean, I don't know. For me, I've always liked, as soon as we started doing this, I really liked the aspect of the DIY, kind of just us being like, hey, this is something that we want to do. How can we help? What can we do? And basically, what can we do to help out? What can we do to help our community or, people around us? And so it's kind of just been that DIY. Let's just do this. We don't know what we're doing. We'll just start. We'll just do one, learn from that, do another one, learn from that. And to me, also, it's just like, when you think about it, I mean, if we're just two guys who said, screw it, let's do this, and then we start getting other people involved, and think about just if everybody did just one thing once a year. If everybody you knew did just one kind of event once a year, whether it be hand out blankets or food drive or whatever, I mean, the impact would be astronomical. It'd be great. It'd be amazing.
We'd all be busy as hell too.
Yeah, that's true.
So much fun stuff.
Nobody could go to the punk rock food drive anymore because they're all doing their own. But
Sorry, man, got the Beach Bash Jamboree going on.
Yeah,
bring your own tambourine.
But I mean, I guess the tie-in is just is just the DIY, and why not? Why can't it be punk music and punk punk rockers who are helping to contribute to their local community? Yeah,
exactly. Oh, I agree, and I think that musicians are kind of a part of the community. We're out and doing things and putting on events.
Yeah,
so
musicians are givers. They give their entire soul, and maybe they'll make $10 or something.
Right.
I've had plenty of those shows.
You put it all out there, and then you go, oh, that was my entire being right there, huh?
Yeah.
30 minutes a night. Cool.
And so you call it the punk rock food drive, but is it just punk music?
Not necessarily.
We've had a ton of different styles.
Yeah, I mean, we like mixing it up like that. I mean, to me, it's more the idea, the DIY kind of, the punk rock community. But we definitely have majority of punk bands, but we've had, folky bands. I don't know if you're familiar with Trouble in the Wind. They've played before. We've had kind of like Irish folk kind of stuff. They've
Almost like year two was like the folk rock one.
Yeah.
The Leprechauns used to be really. They're actually.
I think I booked that whole thing. That was
that was good.
that was an interesting one. That was 10 bands, and it was all flipping
like
day.
Fist Fights with Wolves just played our last
Yeah.
one, and I booked them because I love them. I was fucking
great.
blown away by them.
Yeah,
they
were amazing.
I saw them at Boar Crossing like a month before. Like I've been trying to see them, but they're always playing down here on like a Wednesday at the Whistle Stop, and I found out about it on Tuesday or something. I'm like, I can't do it, but I saw them and I was just like, this isn't even music. This is like a ceremony. This is like,
yeah, they're amazing.
This is something's happening right now. Like so that band I love so much. So we got them on the last one.
Nice.
We'll do acoustic acts a lot of time opening up. Our friend
kind of like a theme for us now. Like the last four or something. We'll get like an acoustic opener. Just to kind of start
Dead Frets
light.
has done it a lot. Our friend Isaac from Heart Rot has opened up a bunch.
Blind Mountain Holler. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Oh, they're
amazing.
cool.
Yeah, you should have them.
They're like a
over here, too.
3-piece. Yeah, they're rad.
3-piece. It's like guitar, like acoustic guitar, cello, and percussion, like snare, tambourine, and just what they're constantly finding instruments and just weeding them in and like working them in. But it's almost like
Like rocking kind of Americana.
Yeah, it's like death folk Americana. Like
Oh, cool.
It's all like freaking gunslinging, killed on the train kind of stuff. Like it's just dark. It's got like this darkness to it, but it's the music's really beautiful. It's cool.
Nice.
So they're actually gonna play. They're the only band we have booked for the 10th annual.
We're getting there.
So we have our 10th annual coming up in November.
Okay, nice.
We know it's November 10th. We know it's going to be at Midnight Jack Brewing in Oceanside, where we just had the last one. And we're working out a lot of other shit. That's about all we know right now.
Okay. But you're already planning.
Oh, jeez,
How many months away? Yeah.
It's only 3 months away, which
yeah.
scares the shit out of
When we
us.
finish one, we go, God, we should already be planning the next one.
It's funny because we
Right.
usually take a break. We we finish a June show and we go, let's take a breath.
Yeah.
We did it. All right. And then we take like a month off and then we start working and then we book. And I think that's that month off that kills us. We're always like, we're running out of time.
Yeah, every time we go, God, dude, it's getting here so fast.
And so since this one's our 10th annual, we're like, we're not gonna rest.
Yeah.
We were thinking about it before we even did the last one.
yeah,
We're just
yeah.
like, hey, so real talk. Milestone's coming up. What the fuck are we gonna do?
Big bands.
So we're working on it. Chris has always wanted to incorporate big bands, and my job is to shut up enough to listen to what Chris wants sometimes and try to help him get it.
And then also
so
to
I'm
bring
like-
you back to reality. I'm like, yeah, dude, we can get 5 headlining big, huge bands. Sure, why not? At a brewery, yeah, they're all going to be.
We're bleeding money. We're made of it. Just give it to them.
They're going to be friggin'.
It's been a really interesting thing trying to the idea of booking like almost like headlining style acts for a charity event where my concern is how do I get my meal count up, not which band do I give $600 to. I look at that $600 and I say, hey man,
that's X amount of meals.
that's
Yeah,
30,000
Yeah.
meals. Is that right? That's wrong.
Sure.
It's a lot of meals.
you're more of a
3,000
mather
meals.
than me. I don't know.
I've done math before.
Yeah.
Like I took a class once. They called it math.
I've
And I
heard
just
of that.
learned
Yeah.
about it. But it's an interesting transaction. Like you do get more. The idea is you pay people for their talent, and you get more people there.
Sure.
But still, I'm
Yeah.
just like, but how much money am I going to bring to the food bank?
Yeah.
You know? I want the streamers this time.
Yeah. It's a balance.
Yeah, and a lot of it's just taking that, when we did this last food drive at Midnight Jack, it was kind of a step in a different direction. Well, because the last couple of ones we had done at a different brewery in Vista, and so we were looking for a place that was a little bit bigger, had a little bit, could fit some more people in, kind of grow the event. So it's always that taking that first leap, being like, okay, it's uncomfortable, but we got to do it. That's, to me, that's get the bigger band thing too. Because
Right.
all right.
Yeah, I just attacked this microphone. I'm like, I'm gonna
good.
throw my ear on this thing.
Yeah. So how do you go about approaching a bigger band? Do you just send emails and see
we
what
don't
happens?
know.
No, we know. It's all happening right now. We have so many friends. Like, I was just talking to someone in the middle of the road outside my house this morning. He said, we know enough people. Everybody knows someone, and it's all just kind of talking about it. And, like, it's just, like, such a weird mix of, like, just, it's literally just having, like, a little stupid, mild conversation. And the next thing you know, oh, you're here at the food drive. You're a part of it now. Like, that's what happened just at the last one. It's just, we
For
just
sure.
run
Yeah,
into
we've-
people and try to get them involved. But
Yeah, and it's funny because when we were driving down here too, Jason, we were talking about like the whole like you know, he was saying, I feel like I'm always talking about the food drive. And I was like, yeah, I get it. And that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Cause that's how you meet people, you talk to them, you kind of just tell them what you do. And then you find that one guy that goes, hey, that's freaking awesome, man. I'm into that. And this is what I do too. And so it's more of a, you know, that's how you just collaborate and get together. And
I pictured it like a groove or a rut or something. And like, but like if someone was like to poke you on the forehead and just go, hey, punk rock food drive. Hey, punk rock food drive. And then they just keep knocking you on the forehead. Like that's what it is for me. It's like it's going, you need to tell people about this. You need to do this. You need to organize this. You need to make sure that that's done. You need to check your list and make another list and blah, blah. And that's like, so we do this every 6 months. And it's like the older you get, time just flies more.
Oh, I know.
And so it's like, here we go. 6 more months. Here we go. And it's just like, it's almost like a workout program or something for testing how bad your organizational skills are, you know?
So who's all planning it? Is it just the two of you?
It's mostly us. We're not, well, it's probably me. I don't ask for help for anything. And then there's this part of the thing that happens where you hold things that you love too close.
Yeah, it's
what is it? It's like Chris Farley in the restaurant where he says he basically, or what, you Lenny your kitten to death, like of mice and men or something. So we're like, it's funny, like we're 10 years in and we're starting to learn how to say, hey, other people, you're out there. We need help and you can do things to make things better.
Yeah.
Or just to trust, not even to be like, hey, you do exactly this thing that I want, but to say, hey, we need you to do whatever you do that you're already good at, and we could share those resources, you know, and trust you to do your part, you know?
Right.
So we're in the process of that, which is like, it's just been like a decade-long therapy session to get there, to get to that open.
Baby steps, man. Baby
share
steps.
this kitten with me so I don't destroy it.
So like what all is involved? Like finding the venue, booking the bands, all the promotion. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just did it.
There it
That's
is.
it. You're done.
You're there.
Three
Yeah.
steps. Easy.
Yeah, that's it.
Really, we spend a lot of the time at this point really is doing like, because we try to get raffle prizes and stuff.
Oh,
and so
right. The raffle too.
that's a big part of just, you know, spending an entire day going business to business saying, hey, you know, how's it going? This is what we do. What do you guys think? Dropping off the, you know, flyer with them and then following up with them and stuff like that, especially in new places. We've got a lot of businesses in North County that have really been great, that they donate year after year, which has been awesome. So those guys, usually it's easier. You come in, hey, how's it going? Okay, yeah, Funk Rock Food Drive's coming around. Cool. But you still, you know, I always want to continue growing it. So it's just that, surprisingly enough, takes up a ton of time.
Sure.
A lot of follow-up.
Yeah.
It's the greasy wheel kind of thing where you just...
And then fitting that into, you know, 50-hour work weeks. And
It's so funny because we start early. Like sometimes we're like, we're going to go donation hunting 2 months out or 6 weeks out because we're smart. And then we spend all that time... I had my 6 weeks out thing going, Chris. Bye, Chris. Like we spend all this time, like we think we're going to get ahead of it. And then like with the raffle prizes, if you start early, it doesn't really matter. It's like, it's almost like you need 1 to 2 weeks out to just say, yeah, it's like next week. So let's just, let's make this thing happen, you know?
Right. You
like
need
half the
that
time you're just,
on you.
it's all follow up. It's like you drop forms off and the person you need to take there isn't there. And
Right.
it's just kind of it's just babysitting. It's just spreadsheets and notes and who'd you talk to. You know, I left the form with Jan. The manager's name is Michael. Follow up with email, follow up with text, like do this. And it's just like babysitting it. And then towards the end of it, you find this, you develop your own custom priority system on what's worth your time and what isn't, and who you know is going to get back to you and who isn't. And so like, it's been 10 years, I've got a database with probably 200 or 300 businesses that have donated over time. And I'm just, I have them because I have to send them thank you letters and just kind of keep things up and running, you know?
Sure.
I'd really like to get some postcards going, but I'm too cheap probably, but.
Some postcards to just like reminder.
Annual.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
just like, hi, here you go. Thanks.
Yeah.
But it's all, you know, it's all in the vault right here in my brain. It's on the list of things to look into and figure out.
Let's take a break here. I want to play one of your tracks.
Oh, cool. Sounds
From
good.
the Parade of Horribles. This one is called The Wee Mice Cheese.
cat's alive.
We're back. We have some fresh beers. We're good.
Yes, thank you.
Sure
very
thing. So I'd like to shift gears a little bit. I want to hear about your band. So tell me about your band.
Yeah.
We used to be in a
We're in a
four-piece band.
Yeah.
The band that started the food drive, and then that band became a three-piece band.
What was that band's
That was Black Seven.
Black Seven, yeah.
We lost the guitar player, and then we lost the singer guitar player, which is pretty much like the driving force of that entire band. Left.
We already had a food drive booked too, and we're like, shit.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
So pretty much, we had to do the third annual food drive without playing. We just kind of emceed it, and we immediately discovered that emceeing a food drive you're not playing at is not nearly as fun as playing at a food drive.
This is true.
So we created a band to be able to nourish our charitable events through our later years forever and ever.
Yeah, too. And initially it was like, Jason was like, hey, what do you think? I've got this idea for like just a 2-piece thing. Are you interested in that? And I was like, yeah, I mean, definitely.
It's like when the band broke up, there was extra gear in our room. And so I just hooked up my bass to a bass amp and a guitar amp. And I said, fuck all these other people. We're just going to go.
Yeah. And it worked. And it's still working.
But originally, so that's what we do.
We initially talked about, we'll just do like charity events, like we'll just do the food drive, or we'll just, and we started, he had, a whole bag of songs already fucking ready to roll. Well, not that many, but anyhow. And we just started learning them, and then we were like, this is pretty cool. We should play some shows. And we started playing shows, and people were like, your guys are weird, but I like what you do,
Nice.
That's the one you get I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the best, right?
Yeah. Almost every time we play, someone comes up and goes, yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. You guys are pretty cool. And then after you hear that 2 or 3 times, you go, yeah, we should keep doing this.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You get rid of expectations and you just make a lot of noise, and then you arrive wherever the fuck we are.
So
we
once it was just the two of you, did your sound change a lot from your last band?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we still have
Everything's
a
a lot
punk
noisier
influence.
now.
I mean, we have some punk songs and definitely punk influence. Other stuff was,
when we started, it was super funky, like, because it was a good outlet for me to do a lot of slap stuff, like slap and tap. So really just a lot of right hand bass techniques.
we're getting back around to that.
We're coming to get it. I listen to a lot of metal, so it's really hard for me to shut the fuck up and calm down. I'm just like, I want to be loud. I want to be aggressive. I want to make notes in weird timings. And like, I don't want to play the same thing over and over again. It's weird. Like, I've been listening to music for so long, and I was just talking to someone about the Ramones the other day, either today or yesterday, where it's like, I love them, but I'm not going to fucking play it. Like, I can't play it like that. I can't write my next 27 songs when I write one song. So, like, I have a constant striving to sound, like, to just reinvent. Like, if I'm going to pick this fucking piece of wood and metal up, it's going to make something new happen.
And he does that all the time. He'll come to practice and be like, dude, check this out. We're doing, what do you think about doing this now? And I'm like, oh, Jesus.
What do you think of polka, bro?
What do you think about,
like, with a death metal twist?
Yeah, I know you've never played this style before, but here you go. And I'm like, oh, God. But it's cool because it's made me a lot, I'm not saying I'm a good drummer, but anyway, it's made me a lot better drummer for sure by just having to.
It's just like trail hiking. Like, hey, we're going to go here. Like, I don't know what the fuck's there. We could
There's a lot of bushes in the way.
But it's probably worth it. Let's just hack through all these bushes, and then now we play punk and samba in the same song.
Yeah, we do. Nice. We definitely do.
So on your recordings, is there guitar on that?
Yeah, the latest album, the last like full album from last year, there's guitar all over it. So,
are you playing guitar? Or who's playing guitar?
No, I played like 2 or 3 songs, like the easy songs I played guitar on. But my buddy Dylan Blanton, I used to like one of my first bands when I was in high school was with Dylan. He played drums in a band I was in, like just a little punk band. And
was that in San Diego?
In Vista, down in North County, and then. He ended up playing guitar with a band called Sick Waiting, punk band that's been around since like 2000, and that I've played bass with as well, done some recordings with him and some tours and stuff. But he lived in Texas, and right when we started tracking our album, he just got his first MacBook or something, and he said, I want to start recording. I said, fuck yeah. You don't know pain until you start recording on your own. You need to get into this. Let's get those scars. Come on. And so I said, here's the first song off our new album. I've just started tracking it. Just take it. And if you want to fuck with the audio, it'll just be something to learn on. And I don't know if I suggested it or he just did it, but it was like, while you're at it, maybe if you hear anything, just play some guitar. He sends me back these guitar tracks.
Was it something for some? No,
it was just the instrumental. It was the first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I remember the first one you sent back, we were both like, wow, that
We're
was
like, this
completely unexpected. Like
So
what
Dylan's
we, yeah.
always been like kind of a musical virtuoso. Like he started playing violin when he was 4, and just his dad was an amazing classical guitarist, and so he was
cool.
always really. He played drums in our band, but he was like a better guitar player than our guitar player at the time. And I just started listening to like Strung Out and shit, and I thought that I listen to Strung Out now, and I thought they were songs he made up in 8th grade. I was like, 'cause he was just shredding them all the time. But so he has such a good ear for kind of what I want. I just say, here's the track, and he'd send me something. I'd be like, perfect. He recorded on like 9 of those tracks, maybe eight of those tracks. And there was only one I had to say, okay, everything's great, except, at 30 seconds in at that verse, if you could try something like this. And then with one little paragraph, I described what I heard in my head, and he sent it back on a recording. So it's just cool when you kind of click with people where you could be like, you have a good ear. You are able to take your ideas in your head and make your hands make the necessary noises I need. And it mixed so well. Like, it was such a fun thing to mix in there. Like, the thing
it turned out great. The thing too, though, is like, it's kind of
go ahead. It's
a little misleading when you're like, oh, there's guitar on the album and stuff, because
it's misleading as fuck.
Well, but when
We're never gonna hear that.
No,
you
but
don't,
when
you don't ever play with them live?
No.
Okay.
No, it's always just bass.
But when we play live, it's super fucking cool, I think.
Play live, it's loud as fucking weird anyway. So you're like, why are you guys so loud? There's 2 of you and there's so much noise.
It's full. It's not. I don't say loud. It's very full, because the way he splits everything up, and he's got a clean channel and a dirty channel.
Fulfilling.
And
fulfillingly loud.
Yes. So it just sounds like there's an entire band, and everyone always says that. They come up and they go, "Oh my god, I can't even." There's just 2 of you. Like, I was trying to look in the back, like, see where the hell that other guitar player was or something.
Where is he? Where is he? So the thing is, I mean, like, all of our albums, most of our albums, like our first album was, we just went somewhere and did like a little 5-song EP. We're like, we're a new band, we need something. Here you go.
Yeah.
You
When was that?
That one was like 2000. How long have we been doing this?
I don't even know.
8 years.
Wait, I got a phone. I can cheat
We're
real
old
quick.
people. Don't even look. You don't want to know.
I'm gonna look.
But it was like 8 years ago, but
what? No, come on.
Dead Records, 8 years, 9 years, 7 years ago. I went up, made it longer. It was 26 years ago, Chris.
I got a white screen of death.
So then I started recording our albums on our own, because I wanted, like, because I'm an idiot. That's why. Because I hate myself and I'm an idiot. And I was like, I could do this. And it was
so
like,
did you have experience before that, or you just were like,
no,
just
I mean,
go for it,
I've made
their
my
own
own
band?
solo albums since like
Okay.
2004 or something. Like, I just started recording in my,
sure.
in a
But did you have
room in my
experience recording drums before? That's the fun part.
no,
Yeah.
that sucks, recording drums. Like, if you want them all to sound good, I mean.
Right.
You could usually get like 4 out of 7 things to be good. And then you're like, too bad toms are supposed to be in this song, because they sound like garbage. It's so weird to do. Like, I recorded them. I've recorded 2 albums. And
Did you do that like at your house?
we practice at his house, so he has a room that we practice at.
So we tracked all the drums at my house, and then he did everything else, basically vocals and.
I mean, for a while, what I was doing on albums is we track the drums, and then I'd play bass on them, all the core stuff, and then I'd just listen and be like, what else do I want on here? And that's the thing, is like, it's my like an studio office in my house. It's like, I'm not here to sit and think about if this could ever be played live. I'm here to fucking make whatever I want to make, to say,
This
so
is
that's
what
what
I
I
do.
did.
Yeah.
So I was in the habit for a while. We had a second album that We Mice Cheese song you just played was off an album it was like all our funky ones. But I was like, these are special, man. Like, there's something there, and I wanted to add more to them, like, just what I kind of heard in my head. So I'd wake up at 4 a.m. and just like play guitar, and like, I don't know shit about playing guitar, but I'd just be looking for
That
stuff.
was the whole album's.
That album is just.
It's interesting.
There's a bunch of shit that happens on all these albums, especially like when I self-produce them. It's like you record for an hour and then you click a mouse for a year or something. So we're not like fucking. It's not like some kind of jazz freaking. You're really good at what you do kind of thing. Hit record and just record golden greatness. It's like just a shaped malleable sculpted thing. But like I just destroy the shit out of myself when I do them.
Really?
And
Yeah, definitely.
I fucking fall apart. And like if I'm about to break, it's probably almost done. Like there was this time on one of our albums where I'm like, I think we're almost done because I'm thinking about putting like whale or goat noises or something on here. So
I'm like, no, we're good, Jason. We're good.
I think I have what we need.
So how long did it take you to put those albums together?
Last album took like 2 years.
Wow.
No, it wasn't
Fucked up.
quite
It took
that
like
long.
2 years. The whole
Come
fucking
on.
thing took 2 years. The first the plan to destroy the world, that was one year,
about a year,
8 month
yeah.
or something. It's just I don't know, it's just fitting
We're going to a studio next time.
Really?
fitting music
Yeah.
into life. Yeah, but here's the problem. You know what you need to go to studios?
Money?
You need money.
Yeah.
My fucking house is built, all the equipment's in there, and all I have to do is just destroy myself for
Yeah,
a year,
it's a mental
2
thing,
years.
dude. It's like, why don't you change your own oil? Well, I could, but it's my time.
It's
Money,
like
man.
that. It's
Right.
worth it though, because then you're like, well, I got the satisfaction. I tighten that thing myself and blah blah.
Yeah, but
blah.
oil change only takes half an hour.
You're like the fucking self oil change guy. That's like the stupidest example.
Do you change your own oil?
Yes.
I'll go change your oil right now. Oh, you need oil change? I'll take
break
care of
job?
it real
Yeah, I'll
quick
get
before I go. No, he's like the fucking most resilient, useful, physically like capable person I have in my life. It's cool. He's my knot guy.
Nice.
He knows how to tie a shitload of knots.
Really?
Boy Scouts, yeah.
Nice. It's a useful person to have in
You
your
gotta have a
life.
knot guy.
That's the Boy Scouts will get you. I actually taught pioneering at a summer camp.
Pioneering? What is that?
Is that
Knot
like you
tying.
teach someone? Oh,
That's what they call
I
it?
thought pioneering was like
It's like knot tying. It's like making I don't know, like if you were to make like a lodge pole, like lashings and stuff like that, making like a lodge pole, like a bridge
Like a
or
lodge
something, or like
Like
a
a lodge
tower.
pole.
I don't know. It's like that kind of
What
stuff.
the hell is a lodge
You know,
pole?
like I don't know. It's like a big piece of wood. You can just lash all this stuff together and make
it's
a bridge
knot
or a.
so strong you could pull a lodge with it, just with your pinky. You just a little tug and the lodge.
Shh, we're not
goes.
supposed to talk about that. Now.
Dude, it's real.
Yeah, I was in the Boy Scouts.
So it's funny because Parade
You
of
can, you
Horribles
can cut
is
all
like
this stuff out too if you want.
it's like oh, you got to double it, like just triple it, so it sounds like an alien. Where it's the Boy Scouts. I do a lot of effect work. So like Parade of Horribles, it's really exciting. Like somehow our band just like disintegrated because I don't think I'm easy to work with. It's probably what happens. And is your throat okay? Do you need a lozenge? You're super squirmy.
Everything's good.
But like what we're doing musically, like for me, it's the fucking most rewarding thing I've ever done. It's just, I just can make any sound I want and I don't have to wait around for like, oh, by the way, what sound are you making over there? You know, I don't have to argue with anyone about
Yeah.
playing certain things or a lot of times, especially you start playing punk and stuff with bands, it's like, why are we all playing the same thing pretty much? Like,
Yeah,
do we
I think I could do this by
we
myself.
Need 8 guys in this
Yeah.
punk band to play rhythm guitar? Like, what the fuck is happening? So we do this thing. I split my signal in a couple ways, and there's all these different noises happening, and it's really just like it's like a frantic train ride to see if you could play the songs you've been playing for 7 years in a night. You know,
That's what it is for me, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, your songs are so complicated. So when you prepare for a show, like, do you have to constantly be practicing these songs?
I just
Is
try not to
that,
drink
like-
too much. Usually,
Oh, yeah.
that's my strategy.
you're a strategist. We just pick a set. We find out how much time we have, and we just say we're gonna play these songs.
Well, the cool thing about what we do too is kind of, you know, it's all over the place. Is like we'll see, okay, we're playing this show, and it's kind of really punk heavy because we kind of get to play with, you know, a bunch of different style bands, which is neat. So we'll put together a set that's, you know, straight punk or maybe just a little bit of the funky stuff, or we'll do another show that's way more kind of artsy and it's got all, you know. So then we'll put together like a, you know, real funky set. So I like that aspect a lot.
We kind of get to do what we want. And it's weird because we play with a ton of punk bands and we just know punk bands and we've been in punk bands and stuff. But like just being in this band, it got us into the Casbah and then where we meet a bunch of other people that we never really would have played with or ran into. And like we've played hip hop shows, we played metal shows at Brick by Brick. Like there's kind of like I think someone described our music as fusion. He said,
Yeah.
someone said everything you do is fusion. Like you're just mixing different kind of styles within any sort of song. and
So
that,
like music vomit, basically.
yeah, that gains you. Well, I feel like I'm the stick. Like I'm not.
You're the one stirring the music vomit.
I'm just stirring. Yeah, definitely the stick. I'm glad you understand. You say vomit, I say stick. Vomit, stick. Vomit, stick.
Vomit.
All right, let's listen to another one of your tracks.
All right, cool.
We get some more examples. All right, so this other one that you sent me. Oh yeah, Speak No Truth. Let's take a quick break.
Guess you one more time and leave your courage far behind. Should you have to be brave to speak your soul? Is civility the noblest goal? If it leaves you smothered and incomplete when you could be whole. Down, down, hands on the ground. Time to rise up and burn it down. Without a mob, you cannot make a sound. Is a complicated thing. The aggravation it can bring if you won't let your true heart sing. Censoring yourself is like suicide. Refraining a hideous lie. If you can't speak no truth, then you might as well die. Down, down, hands on the ground. Time to rise up and burn it down. Without a mob, you cannot make a sound.
And we're back.
Hi.
That's a really cool track. So that was from your older album?
It's a new.
No, it's the most
newer-
recent one,
that's
yeah.
the newer one.
So
Yeah.
we had a full length that came out last March, so March 2017. But in January we released this thing that was probably 7 or 8 tracks or something. It's just like a Bandcamp only release we did at the beginning of the year. That was just yeah. You're like
That
oh,
is the
that
most
there?
recent one.
It's like an online only thing that it's there if people want it.
And then
We don't know if they would ever want it, but basically it's just us jamming.
one of our friends came to this the other day and said, do you guys have a physical copy of that? We're like, no,
That was Tom
dude.
Lord from Bada
No.
Bing. I was like,
No.
are you sure you're talking about the same thing? And I was like, you listened to that? Like, are you okay? Is everything all right in your life? Like, why would you?
So what's the name of that album, Jason?
Oh shit, I don't even know what it's called. It's called One Mic Massacre because we did it on one. It's like a Blue Spark, I think is the microphone.
yeah,
So we just had that, and I had this little interface into my phone, and we just recorded it there. And the thing we were trying to brainstorm some funky songs to do, and I said we're just gonna record all the ideas so we have them. And so we had like 30 ideas, and I took the 8 that I liked, and I just released them. Like it's funny because I'd been telling so many people, I was like, I want to make like. Basically, I'm tired of writing riffs. I want to just play music, and I don't want to care if you have to listen to it. I don't want to care that it needs to be repetitive, or that you need to do things in 4s, or that the hook needs to be here, or that you need to, not 30 seconds of no singing. Like, I don't care about like this marketable format kind of thing.
Right.
I'm just here because I bought a fucking piece of wood and metal a long time ago, and it changed my life, and now I want to make noise forever. And so I got to his house, and I was like, we're just going to do this thing. And we just pressed record, and then I just took it out. And my buddy at Emerald Age Recording, I said, hey, I've got this one mic thing. I want to release it, but I don't want to refine these songs. Like, there's a difference between ideas. I keep telling this to people or something, but ideas are like seeds kind of thing. Like we all have ideas. That's cool, but we don't all have orchards and shit that we've turned into something because of all the hard work and the honing and the fucking sculptor work. But I'm like, I've been in this phase after that last album because I recorded that album, and I'm like, fuck this. Let's just fucking go. I don't want to listen to the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to work on it. I don't want to have to write a song. I just want to go make music and noise and be done. And like, I've always wanted to do that in like a proper recording setting, but we're not fucking Miles Davis and John Coltrane over here.
You're not.
We're a little stiffer. We get red light fever and stuff. Like, you set up all
Oh my
this
God, I know.
stuff, and you're like, okay, now just make shit up and pay me money.
Just play amazing.
So we just did it ourselves and had this one mic track, this mono thing. And I said, hey, buddy, make this stereo for me. Get a little reverb, a little compression, and we'll just put it together. And it's just 8 songs that are just... I almost said they're garbage, but I meant that in like a nice way. Like, I care about garbage.
Yeah, garbage is,
It's like psychedelic. It's just, it's like
it's a little sloppy, and it's a little
way sloppy.
Yeah,
It's real.
But it has
life.
an energy to it.
It's like a road. It's like some of these roads out here that you wonder, like, taxes. What am I doing with all this money? I got to drive on this road.
I'm totally gonna railroad you right now and go
do
back
it.
to the track that they just listened to. Yeah. Speak now.
What about it?
Just because we didn't talk about it at all.
Yeah.
How are you gonna railroad me? Tell me
saying,
how
'cause-
bad it is.
No, it was just
Lay
this whole
into
like,
me.
no, not. Just it was one of those like Jason comes in one day. We actually had just seen Dylan Drex's Gate Plan play, and he comes up and he's like, "Dude, I got this song."
I saw that show. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dillinger Escape Plan, but they're
No.
like a
Oh my god,
progressive metal math rock kind of band where it's like
pretty much the
whoa,
best.
time signatures. What are
progressive.
those?
Are they local or not?
No,
No.
they were from Jersey. They retired last year. They hit 20 years and they said, you know what? We're not playing music anymore. This is it for us. And they just kind of bowed out instead of like fading away, which I'm still pissed about, but I get it.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Respectable.
Yeah.
But they're amazing. If you are into that kind of stuff at all, you should definitely check them out. It's one of those things like when you first listen to it, you go, what the fuck is this? And then you listen to it again, you go, all right, that's kind of cool. And then you listen to it again, you're like, dude, my fucking mind is blown right now. Like that's that kind of band where it takes a little bit, but
They're
God,
like
they're
such a
so
weird mix
good.
of heavy and soft. Like they do light and singy, and then they do just scream your fucking head off.
Yeah, and so then he
you
comes
don't
to me and he's like,
understand.
dude, I got a Dillinger type song. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like, their stuff is so technical. I was like, there's no way. This is not going to.
It took like 2 years or something. We were just,
It took
we
a
were just
while for
fucking
me to
with it,
learn
and
that.
we
It
were
took 2
like,
years for that song.
well, like to come out, like
Yeah, from the time he
'cause
presented it, yeah.
I'm impatient. I'm a mean person. I'm a mean person.
Well, yeah, because if we had sat down
I've
and
never
just
said
done
that
it.
out loud.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Do you feel better now?
I feel like I could own that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm a mean person.
You don't hear me
I don't think I'm actually a mean
denying
person.
this.
Ah, you're a dick.
I'm just-
I'm a mean person to me, not to anyone else.
No.
No, it was just like I would be like, hey, let's try that song. Or I always just record everything on my computer anyway, and I'll just send it to him. And here's the idea. You know, and if you're close to it, we'll fuck around with it. If we're not quite there, we'll give it some time. And we'd work on it for a couple weeks. We'd give it a month.
Give it a little
whatever.
breather, yeah.
It depends on, life and shows. If we're practicing for other stuff, it's like, oh, we can't work on that, And then at some point it just came around and it clicked.
For me, it was a completely different style too. So it was like, even though it doesn't sound as, I don't know. I guess when you listen to it, it doesn't sound completely different, but for me, it was like way different for playing.
Yeah. What's different about it for you?
Just the timing of it
Really
all, the time
staggered.
signature. Yeah, it's got this kind of funky.
There's a lot of like 13/8 parts in it.
I was
instead
trying
of
to
4/4.
count it and figure out the time signature. Is it 13?
It's like it's probably 13. Usually it's just so long that you almost have to double up and keep counting because otherwise you do like an 8 and a 7 or 5.
Oh yeah, and then it goes back into like a 4/4 here and there, and then it goes back into all crazy and weird. So
I
it's
definitely write from feel. I don't ever.
Okay.
The only reason I might know if it was 13/8 is because when I write them, I kind of program the drums to see what I want. So I might know because I have to program my computer to do the stops right or something.
So when you say program the drums, like do you put in drums from the program you're using before he
That's how I demo
drums?
stuff.
Sometimes,
Sometimes, because I do solo album work stuff too,
Okay,
so I'll just release my own stuff. So I've been programming drums since like 2002 or something.
What do you use? What program?
I use Cubase. I just happen to have like $100 version of Cubase when I was young.
when you won that award.
No,
that was a foot pedal thing.
That was the reason.
What
that was
award?
reason 4.
You won Reason?
No, it's so funny. I just told this story this morning. I feel like I've been riding the crest of this recording contest for my entire Sunday. Like, one time I won a recording contest at Miracosta College.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got a fucking back patch about it. No, I at this college right by my house in Oceanside, they did this recording arts. Recording arts class had a recording contest where you come in.
Were you a student there, or?
Yeah, I don't even think I was taking classes right then, but I had been. I've taken just a couple recording arts classes there. It's one of the best recording arts local community colleges in the country, I believe. At least it always was back when I was doing it. I think it still is. But it was just this recording contest. You're supposed to come in and just make, like, you have 15 minutes, record a song. Here's Pro Tools. And then if you win, you were supposed to get a copy of Reason 4. I mean, Reason 4, that's how old it was. I think they're on like 8 now. But you get that and this thing called a pedal-operated keyboard. And that was the best thing of it. It's like a keyboard for your feet.
Mm-hmm.
So that, like, when you press record with your space bar, you do it with this foot. So if you have a guitar...
like typing keyboard, not piano
it's
keyboard.
pedal-operated keyboard. So you just press play, stop. And then if your track's bad, you can just hit undo, play, stop.
Nice.
And you're just doing all this work with your feet. So if you're alone recording and you have a guitar or keyboard and you want your hands to be available, you just do all that shit. It works good for him too. Like, he's been tracking drums. I go, just use this. Yeah. Just hit this when you're ready. So there's no pressure about like when shit's going to start. It's like, you start when you want. That's my fucking enthusiastic recording. How many recording contests have you won?
I have not won any, sir.
You know what sucked about that though? But Johnny Vatos, the former drummer for Oingo Boingo, was supposed to be a judge.
Oh, really?
But he didn't show up.
Oh, what the hell?
Damn. One of those misconnections. Yeah. It's a sad thing.
Man. But you don't even use Reason anymore.
I use Reason. They have really good keyboard sounds in there. Like, if I want to get some good synth sounds, I might use it. I use it more for solo stuff.
Okay.
I don't know.
He's got a bunch of solo albums.
I don't know how to incorporate.
Yeah. Well, not a bunch. How many? 4?
Like 4 or something.
Yeah. That's kind of a bunch. I don't
I
know.
haven't released one in a while. I'm due. I'm overdue.
So how's your solo stuff different?
It's all over the place. So in that regard, it's the same. It's all fucked up. Like, I've got one that's like, my first 2 were just me.
Come on. Tell about the very first one.
Which one? The archive one?
No,
the
fucking
one, or
the
music generator one?
Yes.
Yeah, so I've got like a techno album essentially that I made in fucking 1998, 2000 on a Sony PlayStation 1. The first PlayStation that came out, there was a game called MTV Music Generator, and it was basically just like a MIDI sequencer where you can program beats and keyboards and do whatever. And I had like 30 songs or something in that. And then I finally released them, like just like 12 of them, just the hits
Yeah,
on this album called Techno Cleaning Classics, because it's really either good for cleaning or driving. And so it's all just, I just used to chain smoke and write songs on this fucking game all the time. That's what I did.
It was like
It's
video
like
games.
a
It was
MIDI
like,
player
with the controller?
Yeah, it was. I could never get it down because it's beyond my skill level. But this guy was freaking amazing at it. It was so cool just to like. I remember him showing me all this stuff, and I was like, dude, these things are fucking rad. These songs are cool, you know.
I listened to a lot of Prodigy in high school because the people that I knew, they were always pumping Prodigy to me. So it's essentially a video game that lets you become Prodigy kind of thing. So I just wrote all kinds of weird songs on that. And then when that was like my first, I learned about arranging a lot then and just like taking what I heard for drums mostly and just making, like programming it. And then I started getting, just started buying software in 2002 or something, just accumulating junk, It's like, I got to have that plug-in. I got to have this mic. I got to have like just chasing goods to be like, you know what? My recording game won't quite be where it needs to be until I fucking spend $600 on this thing I'm never going to use. So I started doing that fucking, just the accumulation wars as far as gear goes for a while. And then I just make my own albums, and they're weird. They're just, I don't know how to explain them.
Like, do you used to make like electronic type music?
Not that often. I haven't been writing a lot of music lately. I've been like sifting through my computer for the shit that I want to release. Like sometimes it's just like, I want to get rid of this. I want to, like, I say that my computer is a place where music goes to die because I just put stuff in there, and then
you've got a ton of stuff in there.
There's
too,
a lot
man.
of stuff, and it's just hard to decide what to work on, and you have to be organized. Like you have to be inspired enough to know. You have to be inspired enough to know what not to look at, because there's so much shit to distract you that you could just say, if I pick this and focus on it for X amount of time, I will get the thing I want, even though the thing I want is constantly undefinable, unattainable, and I'm going to want stuff forever, But it's like, I want to make things, I want to end up with them and have them and say I created them. But there's so many like starts, and it's just the seeds. It's like, what the fuck crop am I going to grow with all this shit? So I've been stuck in like this, I don't want to make new things until I find out what I want to make or something. It's weird. I'm in a really interesting spot.
That's where I come in.
I feel like a fucking artist right now, like crazy.
Because then I go, hey, dude, get off your ass. Let's do some shit.
He's my therapist over there. He's like, hey, real world stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just
remember we were talking about this? We're doing
moving.
this now. Fuck. I'm just the motivator.
No, I think all artists need that.
We have a system.
Like
it's
a good
fucking
team.
weird.
Yeah.
So he's married to my sister, so I've known him for 20 or 25 years or something. So
long time. Longer.
He's my brother drummer.
Since...
The
Jeez,
easiest setup ever.
That's nice.
2-man band.
Yeah.
If you need you want to play a show, let me make one phone call. I'll figure this out. Hold on. Yeah, we're in. That's it.
Yeah.
All these fucking 3-piece bands. That's excessive.
Yeah, fuck that.
God.
That's crazy. Crazy talk.
No thanks.
Do you guys have any shows coming up?
We do. Yeah.
We're playing Thursday, August 2nd
Where
at
you
Tower
playing?
Bar.
Oh,
Power
cool.
bar. Yeah.
Yeah, we're closing the show, but our friends from Las Vegas, Mercy Music, they're like pretty much the best band in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah?
They're coming out. A band called Poor Me from Denver's playing, and then Midnight Block is going to open that show. But
Cool. It's like a punk show?
yeah, like a punk/rock
And
show.
then us.
And then us. Yeah, and then we'll just
Nice.
make noise. Mercy Music is really good, though. They're fucking amazing. If
Cool.
you don't have to work Friday, you should definitely stay out extremely late on Thursday. That goes for every Thursday, Friday. Really.
True.
Yeah,
Not just this
That's
one.
true.
You could just come see Mercy Music and then leave before we play, though. You know?
That's what I'm going to do. Except I can't.
But
I have employment obligations.
Damn.
I might make $6 that night, so
yeah.
I'm fucking showing up.
Fuck yeah, you are.
And then you say you have another punk rock food drive in November. That's the next
November
one?
10th. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, the 10th on the 10th.
Are you
So,
still looking for bands?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Just don't tell them that.
Okay.
No, we're looking for bands for sure. We're starting like at the top down kind of thing. We're trying to determine. We've got some people that we know that we're working on the big band angle with. So pretty much the goal is to just have like the biggest bill we could do, and if that falls apart, we'll just throw the biggest local show we can, which is typically what the food drive is anyway. It's just it's usually just a really huge local show with a mix of North County and San Diego bands, and we're just trying to get as many people out there as possible. It's been working out really good. We started doing the brewery thing a couple of years ago, and it's insane for us because we just have people we haven't seen in years who are coming out because they could bring their kids and stuff. And
That's been nice about the brewery. Yeah, usually in the breweries, it's kid friendly, so it's like everyone
ever playing a 21 and up food drive again if we
not
could
if we
help
can
it.
help it. Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
Vegas or something.
Because it's great. Like the best picture ever we got off this last food drive.
Dude, there's like the last food drive by the end, there was just like kids took it over. It was crazy.
Yeah.
There's just like toddler moshing. It was like kind of like this. It was like a cute Lord of the Flies kind of thing, like where it didn't get too graphic or like devastating. But yeah, there's just freaking kids everywhere.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool.
It's hard to find all ages venues around here. So
I'm gonna show you the picture right now. Nobody else can see it, but you'll see how cool it is.
I can post it though.
There you go. Yeah, we'll give you links to all that stuff too. So
Great,
you can
yeah.
We actually I just started trying to get like there's a good history page on there where basically it shows every event we've ever done and trying to add like all the different pictures and lineups from it. So
And that's on the website?
It's on the website at punkrockfood.com.
That's great. You're able to get that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I've got the last event is ready. The other one's in 3 years.
We had punkrockfood.com and .org for a while, but
nice.
I don't think I'm going to renew .org. It might have auto-renewed just now. And like, I felt weird about it because it used to be on T-shirts. And I was like, I better own this. Because if anyone looks at this T-shirt, it goes to this website. But that was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
Now if you just type punk rock food, it's just all our stuff.
We're the punk rock food guys.
You earned it, bud. You earned it.
10 years later.
And you're on all the socials, right?
Yeah, we do the socials that we have to. We're adequate. We're adequate at it.
What?
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Okay,
but it's like the hardest part is to want to say stuff. That's why I make music, I think, is to say all the stuff that we want to say.
Yeah.
Because just sitting and typing, it gets so old. I work in IT, so I do computer work all day long. And then I'm like, hey, now I get to go home and market all this shit on a computer or a phone. It's just screens and screens and screens. So every now and then I'm like, holy shit, is that a tree? Oh my God, there's clouds out here.
It's so beautiful.
If there's one thing that you can outsource or delegate,
I know.
it's social media.
Yeah.
I'm my worst intern. I'm like, just do all the work, you dick. Get it done. Yeah, outsourcing is not.
Let's start
a thing
moving towards
I know how
that.
to do yet, but someday. These are all really vital roles I'm doing here. Nobody knows how to type on a keyboard.
No.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming to the studio.
Christine,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for having us. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Sure thing. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Sunshine Sound Podcast. If you want to check out some older episodes, learn some more about our organization, you can head on over to sunshinesoundcenter.org. We're also on all the socials on Instagram and Facebook and things, so check us out on there for some updates on us and some other stuff going on in the music scene here. And you can always contact me with any questions. You want to suggest some guests at Christine with a C at sunshinesoundcenter.org. So thanks again for tuning in, and thank you to Tommy Bobcat for help with the audio engineering and also for providing that sweet theme music. That's all I got for you today, but I'll talk to you again soon. Have a good one.